that Hashem led me down this amazing, literally it was a scavenger hunt. I'm not going to really go into all the details right now because I don't have time, but I want to just share with you the headlines of this tool, what I call the Shivisi Shift, this Shivisi Hashem Lenegdi Tamid consciousness that will help us in that moment to flick the switch. What am I saying? So I'll just talk a little bit for a couple minutes about my personal background. Some of you know me for a long time. Even those of you who know me for a long time, you probably wouldn't describe me as a very edgy, high-strung, I don't know, Basti, what do you think? High-tempered person. But if you ever saw me interact with my children when they were, 1.5, 3, 5, and 7, which is really when I started this whole, as my teacher Rabbi Niven would call, hunt for the knowledge of God, I had a temper that was absolutely out of control, just completely, totally, and I'm not exaggerating, out of control. I didn't lose my temper with my husband. I never really got into big fights. Well, maybe when I was little with my parents, but Baruch Hashem, I have a very, calm relationship with my parents, with my friends for the most part. Yeah. But when it came to my kids, like there was nobody that could push my buttons like my children. Now, anybody out there have that experience? Your kids, Basia is raising her hand. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't see all of you. But maybe if I put my big screen on, I would see you, but I'm afraid to touch anything. So what is that? What is that? And why does that happen? And what was happening for me is, it was just this power struggle. It was literally a power struggle. I have, Kainahara, 4 beautiful children. I say, Hashem only gives you what you can handle. And my 4 children, I think, are equal in energy to other people's, like 10 children. Like they're just all very high energy and have their own ideas. Baruch Hashem, we raised our children to think for themselves. But what was happening? Okay, kids, time to go to bed. No, I went ballistic every single time they wouldn't listen to me. I absolutely positively would scream and yell, and I'm embarrassed to say sometimes throw things. I mean, this was really, and this is I'm Balei Tshuva. I'm doing Kiruv. I'm having, Shabbos guests working for Eshet Torah, blah, 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 but when it came right down to like that moment of, my kids are just getting under my skin, I was destroying my relationship with my children, with myself. It was awful. So Baruch Hashem had rachamim on me. And he sent me a wonderful teacher, and his name is Ilan Feldman. He lives in Ramat Beit Shemesh, and to this day, he's still one of my main mentors. And I started taking his course. He's a spiritual intuitive, I guess you would describe him as. And I'd never meditated before in my life, but he just, he would have us close our eyes and start, breathing deeply. And then he would just say to us, okay, now repeat after me, Shivisi Hashem Lenegdi Tamid. Shivisi Hashem Lenegdi Tamid. Now, what was happening was, so I was doing this exercise and I was breathing deeply and I was saying, and I remember at this point, I have absolutely positively no clue what this pasuk means. All I know is it's this thing that's up, up in the big Beit Knesset sometimes, on top of the Aron. And I have not a single clue. I have no idea what this means. All I know is that Ilan, every time he would start his class, he would put us into this deep meditative state and repeat this pasuk, Shivisi Hashem Lenegdi Tamid. And I would say it and it would calm me down. I would relax. I would feel calm. And this was going on for like a few weeks. And as far as I'm concerned, he just randomly picked that pasuk. Of course, nothing is random. But I all of a sudden would start just, and I would do it on my own. I would go home and in the mornings, I started before davening. I would just do very briefly, just close my eyes and take a deep breath. And I would just say the words, Shivisi Hashem Lenegdi Tamid. And what was happening is I would literally feel, just even saying it now, I would feel my whole my whole body chemistry like would start to shift, and I just felt so much calmer and so much more focused and so much more centered. I had no idea why. I just knew this pasuk would have this effect on me. Now, next in my story, I'm doing this very quickly, which is Elon had a student named Hannah. Her name was Hannah Luke, also an amazing, amazing woman. And I was going to her one-on-one, really for the purpose of just getting control of my temper, because it was really getting out of hand. And she was counseling me. And one day she said something that was just so, is it possible to write the pasuk in English? Okay, I'll try to do that. Yes, I'll try to do that in a moment. So I'm sorry, it's not looking at the chat, but if anybody else can see the chat, and Basu, you could write Shivisi Shift in English, that would be great. So Hannah said to me something that absolutely changed my life, right? I'm describing to her what happens at bedtime, and it's totally like I'm losing control and I'm getting angry, and my kids aren't listening to me anyway, and I have no control over myself. And she said something like this. She said, Deborah Yafa, have you ever tried bringing Hashem into bedtime? You ever tried bringing Hashem into bedtime? Whoa, that was weird. Like, what? No, frankly, I never tried bringing Hashem into bedtime. So I really had no idea what Hannah was talking about. I thought that was really cute. And one day I'm trying to get my daughter, Hannah Rachel, who Baruch Hashem is now a beautiful Kala. My daughter just got engaged. She's 20. So I'm going back now 13 years, maybe even 14 years, 15 years. And we're having this, ongoing struggle where I know if I don't get my daughter to eat by a certain time, like she's just going to absolutely have a complete meltdown. So I'm saying, Hannah Rachel, it's time to eat dinner. No, Hannah Rachel, it's time to eat dinner. Come with me. No. We're having this power struggle. We're going back and forth. I start pulling her arm. I start feeling this volcanic eruption bubbling up inside of me. Here comes the lava. Hannah Rachel, it's time to eat dinner. Come with me now. And the lava is about to pour out of me. And I kid you not, in that moment, I screamed, Shivisi! Just like that. And everything stopped. It was like this magical moment. And it was, I'm bringing myself back there right now. And what happened, as soon as I said the word, and again, I felt this need to scream, but instead of screaming, no, I screamed Shivisi. And as soon as I said the word Shivisi, I just kept saying it over and over again, Shivisi. And again, my whole body chemistry started to shift, started to calm down. And my daughter just walked up into the kitchen and ate dinner, and like, scene over. Like, it was just like, what just happened here?